It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. First coverage of Round 8 of Season 1 of 2024 of the IndyCar Oval Series with a Tuesday night top split coming to you from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Got my partners in the booth as always. Joining me for the HR Esports team in the Lineart IndyCar Series presented by butt kicker Stephen Larkamp, and also joining us a regular participant in the IIT now. Please welcome Justin Peschauer, guys. We're back to another high-speed oval, but this one might be a little bit different. We might actually see a little bit more pack racing than we did at Atlanta, but I think we're going to see tire issues late. Give us your intel. Give us your thoughts. We're going to have a big field. What do you see already?
Well, Las Vegas does have a tendency for creating pack racing, especially in open-wheel cars like these. It's been a common occurrence. A lot of times we've come to the speedway, but you are right as well that talking to some of the drivers here, there is concerns about tire degradation later on in the going with this race. So it's going to be quite fascinating to see how things shape out. And Las Vegas, of course, the gambling capital of the world, there's going to be a lot of gambles you're going to have to take to move up positions here. And there's always chance of hitting it big and also wrecking it out.
Yep.
And as a local around here, Justin, I'm sure you get that feeling more than anyone else.
Oh, most definitely. And compared to you guys having to fly into the city here, it's just about a 20 or so minute drive for me from where I'm at all the way up to the speedway. So yeah, I got a little rights on that one. But most definitely, the tire wear is definitely going to be one to watch here. It's been the case, not just in open wheel cars, but even in stock cars as well. If you burn the tires up, especially running up on the high side, or heck, even the low line through 1 and 2, that bump in 1 and 2 can definitely catch you out if you hit it the wrong way. If you hit it the right way, oh, you talk about a huge run coming off of the corner there.
That's right. It is a home game for Justin as he's joining us from Las Vegas in the on-site studio. Remote studio here for myself and Steven. We've got a minute 31 remaining here. Minute 31 now as we're just crossing that line. Gary Moore, a name that we haven't really talked about here on the broadcast before. Now on the pole. Now we have a new pole sitter, Tiago Benedetti with a 219.2, Moore with a 219.1. Marcelo Colombo, another name that we have never really talked about or seen here on the split. He is up there as well in P4. Graham Tipton up there just provisionally in P2, 219.228. So let's go like this again. Look at the screen. Best speed. As we're looking at miles per hour, 219.2, 219.2, 219.1, 219.1, 219.1. So if you want to be up front, you got to be in the 219s.
Yeah, I am keeping an eye on right now is Robert Malechka. He's out there on his qualifying run now. Jacob Oster right now on pole position at the moment. Keeping an eye on RM3 through 3 and 4. always very fast. Doesn't matter what track it is Malechka on, and that is pole position for Robert Malechka's #1 machine. Great run there. Jacob Oster will join him on the front row there. That's going to be quite the show, I would think.
I got that same problem again that we've had way back when, where the timing did not match up with what we're seeing on screen here. So you guys are going to continue. We got a little time here before we go racing, so let's...
And qualifying is up. It is going to be Malechka. Jacob Oster joining him. This and not quite as many of the heavy hitters we're seeing in this race so far, but nonetheless, it really is a testament to really just the caliber of drivers we have in the series, that pretty much everyone we have here in this top split tonight is a proven commodity for the most part. These guys definitely know the trade very, very well, as everyone's getting ready to grid.
I will be jumping back in here as quickly as we can. But in the meantime, in lieu of not having any graphics for any starting lineups, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you, and you can talk about our starting lineup here tonight at Lost Wages.
Lost Wages, indeed. And Robert Malechka III, definitely a guy that a lot of people will put wagers on, is on pole position. Alongside him, as I mentioned, Jacob Oster looking very strong once more. Adriano Forporti's #11 machine will start third. He'll be alongside Trace Shadid in the #4. Tiago Benedetti, very fast in this run in his #21 machine. He'll start 5th. Very good qualifying effort from him. He'll be alongside Alan Morea in the #10 in 6th place. Nick Sudik in the 5 will start in 7th alongside Urim Rubens is #19. Matt Taylor looking to return to form in the top splits. He's had a bit of a struggle so far in the official SOF races, but nonetheless a very fast driver regardless. He'll start 9th. He'll be alongside our old friend Mark Murphy in the #3 machine in 10th. Jose Solis Jr.'s #6 will start alongside the 7 of Seb Alexander. That's 11th and 12th. Bruno Romanzini in the 14 will start 13th. He'll be alongside Wes Weedman in the 8 machine, P14. Cristiano Benevunto in the 22 will start 15th alongside Brennan McGee in the #9. Richard Vasquez in the 18 will start 17th alongside Antonio Estrada in the #16. Marcel Gagne will start 19th. He's driving the #24 car alongside the 23 of Dan Ench. That's your top 20. Ethan Eckert will start 21st. That's the #20 machine alongside Jim Wallen in the 15. The last driver supposed to qualify in time. Down through row #12. Rafael Eckert's #13 alongside Kyle Clemworth in the 17, and running shotgun on the field in 25th in the #25, Nielsen Messias. We'll see how those three that started at the back, we'll see how that gamble plays out, because that definitely is a gamble in its own right. We're expecting some pack racing, and I bet some of them are going to be banking on some caution flags coming out, and that's going to be one of the best chances they have to make out big positions.
And I'm just going to say this. Of all the things to happen with timing and scoring, it happens the week before the Super Bowl here in Vegas. So is that a precursor to things to come next week?
Oh, boy.
Well, we are looking at the right race now, because we do see Malechka, Oster, Forporti, Shadid, the top 4 there. So shout-outs to some guys in that second split, apparently, that showed up. I know. When we were loading in, I know I was clicking on the right session as you guys, because we were going over the names. It's just how it loads where, for some reason, I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. But you know what we do have? We got 75 laps of racing at the high banks here in Las Vegas. Getting ready to go green. Call a start.
Base car down, waiting on Malechka to bring him to the green. He puts his foot down. Green flag flies, and tucking him right behind him immediately is Jacob Oster. And meanwhile, the fight back on for 3rd place. I'm seeing Trey Shadid trying to get a jump on Forporti as they head into turn 1 for the first time. Meanwhile, behind him, Benedetti holding off Alan Morea, as Morea is losing a spot now to Nick Sadiq on the low side. And look at Oster making a challenge for the lead already into turn 3.
They definitely played it safe on that start there. It was kind of a bit of a jumbled start, almost like we would see at like Long Beach and stuff. But I think because everybody knows that this is going to be a pack race here tonight, they wanted to play it smart. That way, no chaos would happen, knock on wood.
No sense fighting it out that early as Jacob Oster takes the point, starting to defend a bit to the low side against Robert Malechka. The draft is going to be huge, and dragging him along behind him is the number 11 of Adriano Fraporti.
Car in the wall back in turn 4. Not sure who it is. It's Benedito. He is in the wall. There might have been some net code involved there. Alan Marrero, I think, was in the wall and coming off a 2 because he was very slow and up high, but he is back underway. No caution. We're still going. Mark Murphy riding along with him, looking at the cars up ahead. He is now up to 11th. Actually, down to 11th.
Yeah, that's most likely race over for him. He pounded that outside wall in turn 3 pretty good there. That right front wheel is definitely flopping courtesy of the tethers.
Yeah, that is not going to bode well for Benevento. Big shame for him. As I'm looking right now at Mark Murphy coming under pressure right now from Wes Weedman and Brennan McGee. That is going to be, they're having a little bit of a tussle right now trying to get back into the top 10 is Mark Murphy. And I'm sure he is none too pleased about the start of this race on his end. And I'm hearing a lot of radio chatter there from Rafael Eckert's crew. Something not quite satisfactory for him, I would imagine. Oster still holding the point right now. As Malechka trying to find clean air on the high side to get a run up on that number 2 machine. And Fraporti waiting in the wings.
Now, if you see these guys spreading out between the 3 different lanes here, the top, the middle, and the bottom, going through the corners, they are all trying to find clean air because even on a 1.5-mile speedway like Las Vegas Motor Speedway, in an open wheel car, specifically IndyCar, you definitely want to get that clean air going through the corners. That way you don't wash up either in front of you or by yourself into the wall.
Absolutely true, and it's true at a lot of 1.5 miles, and Vegas is no exception. You're playing the game of find the clean air when you're battling that car ahead. You're looking for any bit of air you could get, not only to cool off the motor, but also to give yourself grip, because these cars are so aero-dependent.
Maybe a little too aero-dependent, but still fun nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. These cars are an absolute blast, because going around these high banks at speeds of over 220 miles an hour, that never gets old. As I'm looking right back at Nick Sadiq battling it out with Jose Solis Jr. Battling it out for 6th place.
That's what happens. It bounces off the wall.
Into the class. Mark Murphy's hit. Mark Murphy's involved in it. Barrel rolling down the front straightaway. Caution is out for the first time. As other drivers try to avoid it as best they can. I think some of them may have gotten collateral. As Murphy trying to back it down there, but that was a big wreck off of turn number 4. And Sudik on the radio, he is not happy right now with Jose Solis.
He bounced right down into him. We were watching. So let's go back let's go back in the way back machine here and figure out what happened with Mark Murphy.
I was about to say, in the words of our good friend and IMS radio network broadcaster Nick Yeoman, one car airborne?
Indeed there was, and unfortunately, it was an innocent bystander for the initial incident in Mark Murphy.
Here we go. We're going to ride along and watch from we're not actually going to ride along with Nick Sadiq here, but we're going to have camera focused on him. Boom, off the wall, right on into him.
Yep, just overcooked it in the middle of 3 and 4, comes up into him.
And then we'll...
Guys, I'm counting at least 6 or so cars involved in this.
We'll see from Mark Murphy's point of view. We'll actually ride along with him here. And, goes right up into him. It comes up the banking on the tri-oval and just clips him. He was going for the hole, and the hole closed a little too early there.
Yeah, I just pulled up the radio, brought the in-car transmission from Mark Murphy, and all I heard was the goofy yell.
Yep. All I'm hearing is quite a lot of beeps coming out of that.
Okay, so I think we had some shakeups here on this yellow. not everyone stopped. Oster stopped, Malechka stopped, Taylor stopped, but Forporti stayed out, Benedetti stayed out. So they are right there, and let's give you an idea where we are with laps here. We are... I could see why stopping early and getting new tires, but it might have been too early to stop. But I'm never, ever, ever going to question the strategies of Robert Malechka III, because RM3 will find his way back up to the front. But it's those guys that stop now, they're going to have to go to maximum fuel save and probably still have to make a stop.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah, it's only about you get to lap 24, 25 is when the window opens, and we're not really close to that.
Indeed, and it would seem to me that with Malechka and Ulster doing this, among others, it seems like they're making a tire gamble here. They're expecting tire fall-off to be pretty severe, and also probably banking on another caution to play into their favor here. So this is going to be quite an interesting strategy call on not just Malechka, of course, but a lot of other drivers. We'll see how they do it, but
I don't want to say if we see driving again like that, but if we see driving again like that, this next stint, that quick caution will be coming back. Most everyone's keeping it pretty clean that first stint, but bouncing it off the wall, especially when no one was in front of you, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I don't know if he overdrove the car or maybe he just didn't drive it into the corner, was watching mirrors or whatnot, but still a bit early to be bouncing them off the corner exit. Maybe a little bit later in the run when these tires are a lot more warm. Just me, fellas, but you guys are the color commentators, or you guys are the color commentary.
And I'm inclined to agree. I'm definitely like if anyone was driving with I don't want to disrespect anyone, but I think the thing is, if everyone had gotten their act together early on in this race, if they were not fighting it out too hard, I would definitely expect a lot of these guys to not be making the bold strategy calls like we have here. But with some drivers trying to make big moves up through the field, especially with the pack race we have, I am definitely not discounting a caution later on in this race. And I definitely get going for it. I'm all for going for it, but time and a place is the main thing to consider. Real
quick, let's pay a bill before we go green here. We want to thank returning to us to support the season-long partner of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday Top Split broadcast is Jim Herrick and the guys at 4D RACEWEAR. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's description. Again, thank them very, very much. So, guys, we're halfway down the backstretch, getting ready to go green. Our leader is Forporti. Second place is Benedetti. Third place is Rubens. Fourth place is Weidman. Fifth is McGee. Our highest gainer right now is Eckert at 13 spots. But I think a lot of that's going to change as we cycle through this fuel run.
Gary, I hate to interrupt you, but I just had the studio door here busted down, and I got Mark Murphy over here, and he wants to say something.
Okay, Mark, we're getting ready to go green, but man, it looked like that hole was there for you for a second, and I literally mean for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge that. It's hard to judge that. I thought he was going to stay down there. Sure enough, he comes sliding right back up the track.
Indeed, it was.
He didn't really have very many choices. It's either aim for him, which in Lou might have been the way to go, or go for the open spot. And going for that open spot, and I mean, just literally fractions of a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people that maybe watch us don't realize, we're hitting 230 miles an hour there, and these cars don't exactly maneuver very well. So you have to plan what you're going to do well in advance of.
And I will say, a man with a plan right now is Jerome Rubens. Look at him fighting out with Forporti for the lead. His plan is just to go for it.
Yeah.
Working around the outside of the number 11 machine, Jerome Rubens taking the lead of this race.
Club Brazil running at the front.
That's Jerome Rubens fighting out with another Brazilian in Adriano Forporti, and Thiago Benedetti, also from Brazil. Top three Brazilians fighting it out right now, as I'm looking at Wes Weidman now sticking his nose into the fray, and Brennan McGee and that Roman Grosjean in livery car, looking good. Oh, there's contact there.
Oh, and he lost a wing, and I'm not sure what.
He has lost
was
it.
That McGee?
He's lost a wing big time. That's Brendan McGee. Oh my goodness. I know there's more of them and more of them piling in there, but oh my goodness me.
So this does help me, just in case you were wondering. I am going to be able to get back out in 20 minutes or so. So the more these guys decide to pile it up, I could gain some spots and
possibly. I mean,
yeah, possibly.
Yeah, and the car's still drivable if you get it fixed, right?
The main issue is going to be the steering was knocked about 150 degrees off. So
really, all you have to do is make a couple laps, and that's kind of about it. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine here, see what happened. We're watching Brian McGee here in turn 3, and Brennan McGee, and contact with Weedman, which we're not. What?
So
Weedman was holding his line. Yeah, Weedman was holding his line. And so he just kind of bounces off him. I don't know if he thought he was clear or whatever. Loses the wing. I don't know if he, at this point, lost the wing. Might have hit the wall on corner entry. And then all of a sudden...
he lost the wing after the contact.
Yeah, he lost the wing after the contact.
Lost it.
And then it might also hit the wing, corner entry, ball on corner entry. And then I think started to slow down. And then possibly the cars behind him didn't think he was going to slow down. And... well, and then they crash in that corner. So, yeah.
If we can go back to TV1 camera, we could probably get a better view of that initial contact on the front straightaway here at the start-finish line.
Let's go back.
Yeah, I'm having a look at it from an aerial shot there, and I'm guessing McGee wasn't quite sure if there was enough space there. It may have been a bit difficult to tell for him, but Weedman was definitely down that low line there, and and McGee knocks his front wing off on that contact there with
Weedman.
Weedman.
Get on board with Antonio Estrada. Let's go watch him from his driver's point of view, because he was the first to really miss the carnage. And when I say miss by the slimmest of margins. So let's ride along with him. And we're getting ready to go green, I'm sure, here soon as pit stops have occurred. But let's watch this.
Oh,
there's a contact. All goes up the
everybody.
And he just stays low, and there he goes. Antonio
Estrada,
my Saturday broadcast partner. Woo! Sigh of relief.
Sigh of relief indeed, and that's right now Estrada up 12 spots from his starting position from 18th to 6th. Very good run for him. Ethan Eckert, I'll also point out, 21st to 5th. Very good run for that number 20 machine.
Yeah, we got Ethan on the stream here. Wes Weedman, was the eye of the storm, not by his choosing. He's still running, but we still got Club Brazil up at the front. Weedman 4th, Eckert 5th. Nelson Messias, another Club Brazil driver, 6th. Trace Shadid holding the banner for the Murphy Motorsports duo here. He is 7th. Kyle Clintworth, P8. Antonio, you mentioned it, up to 9. Nick Sudik, I thought he was done. He's P10. Robert Moleska, P11. The top 6 have not stopped. This has really been a very interesting race. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars out. I think the last one is Jim Wallen, and he's sitting there in pit road. Bruno Romanzini is running around with a damaged car, I think trying to make up some spots. He's going to have to, he definitely has a meatball, is going to have to get those taken care of. His day's done. Dan Inch is 17th, the last car kind of together and running. But guys, and now we got more of the guys up front pitting, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's still too early, but if we're going to get more cautions, Urim Rubens might be making the right idea, just staying out.
Possibly.
I don't want to get the mid-pack involved with any of that mess.
No, absolutely. And
No.
I'm seeing Fraporti and Benedetti coming in trying to top off the tanks, and if we do get more yellows, that could also be interesting as well, because they could be fuel saving quite a bit. They'll be on fumes at the end if they do it. But it could be interesting to see if that strategy plays off for them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how each strategy does play off, whether staying out, if the cautions continue and more guys basically just nerf themselves out, will be one to watch.
And with those guys also coming into pit as well, look who's moving back up to the field. Robert Malechka and Jacob Oster back in the top 10. So I have no doubt we're going to be seeing a lot of moves coming from them in the next few laps.
I'm pretty sure P1 and P3 are teammates as well. They got the same livery going down. So teammates at the front. Ethan Eckert, the sandwich in the meat in that sandwich there, and we're getting ready to go green. As a lot of open spaces here along the high line. All the cars have not grouped up.
I think these guys are giving each other room, going, "Okay, we're getting a little too stupid here. Yeah. we got guys getting sent into the air. Let's just take it easy."
Not a good start for Eckert to the inside. Here comes Messias.
Messias to the inside, and he gets the pass done. So move the two teammates up into 1 and 2 right now. And they got a bit of a gap right now back to Trey Shadid, but I can imagine Shadid he's caught the toe of Eckert right now. Is Eckert now trying to move back down to the low side on Messias? Ooh, drifts up almost into him, backs out just in time though.
Also, another thing to take into consideration, it's unseasonably warm here in Vegas, so
imagine saying that about Vegas.
Well, it has been unseasonably warm, so the guys are definitely running ideas through their head.
It's a 78 ambient, 128 degrees track temperature.
Not quite Atlanta hot like last week, but still pretty toasty.
I think that's the second hottest I've seen after Atlanta. So they're going to keep it hot and slippery out there. Trey Shadid over-unders now. Eckert down the backstretch. He's going to get under, side by side into 3 still.
Oh, very close there for Trey Shadid. They're trying to make the pass on Eckert. It's still pretty early in the going there, Trace. Of course, we don't need to fight out too hard, but of course, Trace is definitely experienced enough to know that.
Yeah, one of the more experienced drivers in this series, definitely playing it safe because he knows exactly what can happen when even the slightest bit of wheel-to-wheel contact can go wrong.
Indeed, and even if you're not involved in it as a I know, like, I always think back to that race at Talladega a couple of years ago, and yeah, that was, like, one of them he won, the other one he should have won, in a lot of people's opinion, myself included. Then craziness happens.
Let's go back to P5 there, and there's Clinworth and a battle with Shadid, and also,
Eckert all the way down on the apron there.
Yeah, you can't.
Big squeamish move there. Trey Shadid easily passes, and I would not have done that.
Yeah, Eckert, you saw his car twitch, and I'm sure it gave him quite a moment. But yeah, you could go down there. It's with these cars is rejoining off, coming from the flat onto the banking. Now Estrada's got a good run, and Estrada to the inside at the tri-oval, looking to get this position. If he stays there, he's going to get it going through corner 1. And there he goes. And here comes Robert Malechka.
Eckert still trying to pin him down there side by side on the backstretch. By the way, Gary, wasn't there something we used to say pretty regularly? Something that went like apron bad?
Yeah, apron bad.
Still very true.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
If they had doors, they'd be banging them at this point now as Estrada trying to make that low side work there. Oh, and Eckert actually got the big run to the middle of the corner, and now Malechka and Sadiq fighting it out behind them. Malechka looking to make the move if he possibly can. Looking to the high side, trying to find that clean air, trying to get the momentum.
Yeah, in the stock, compared to the stock cars, you can run on the apron on the front stretch here, but with the Indy cars, yeah.
Free ride, Malechka 2-1. Beautiful move.
Bumps. And Antonio's going to go down low, and Antonio's going to try to get the over-under.
Yes, he is, and Eckert was running up right on Malechka's gearbox there. Here comes Oster to the inside on Estrada. This is the battle right now for 8th place. 7th place, I should say. Side by side through 1 and 2.
For those 2 leaders now, the window's open.
Yes, they are. We're working lap number 30. We're definitely getting ourselves into the fuel window now. About 45 laps to go this time by, so a lot of bets are still firmly on the table.
All right, Trey Shadid
Pun possibly intended.
on lap 10, so he is going to still have to stop. Clinworth, lap 18. Robert Mleska, lap 18. Ethan Eckert has not stopped, so he will still need to stop. The one that's closest to possibly making it out of anybody in this group, I'm going to go back here. Alan Morera in P12 stopped on lap 20. That is the closest to the window. He's got a lot of fuel saving to do. But if he can do it, he might be done for this race. That's a lot of fuel saving, guys, on an oval where you're just simply in the throttle almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, indeed.
He's going to have to go down to fuel map. He's probably going to have to go down to fuel map 5 or between 3 and 5 on the fuel map setting just to save enough fuel.
Whoa, Eckert got massive arrow push there. Estrada had to take onto the apron to get around him there, but he was having a battle with Jacob Oster, and Oster finally got around him for P6.
I think we saw that developing from the in-car shot when we went on rode on board with Morera real quick. We saw the red car in the distance get really high on the corner of exit 4. He is hanging on. He needs to... I'm sure he'd like to stop here in the next 20 laps or so, because I think that's probably 40 to 50 laps is about what his stint is here.
Yeah, and that's the big thing we were also mentioning at the top of the program was the tires. Like, if you get a long run on these tires, they are not going to behave very well for you. They're not going to behave the way you want them to. So that's another big thing to consider is tire wear. They're going to be tweaking to get off these tires at some point.
Here it goes. Into the wall. Into the wall.
Keep it up there. Keep it up there. He's in the wall. This could be. He's keeping it in the wall very well. Everyone ducking low to go around him. Oh, he's in the middle of the track.
Oh, Dan Inch dives and misses him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to keep it going, so no caution. He's going to keep it done. Go ahead. There we go.
Very well done, Ethan Eckert.
I was just getting ready to give a shout out to the French-Canadian Marcel Gagny. Gagne is on the run here. He is up 11 spots into the top 10. Also up 11 spots, aforementioned Antonio Estrada up 20 spots. Kyle Clinworth, who's also in the wall, coming off of corner number 2. His tires are just about done. Let's check out what these leaders...
I think that one on the front stretch there, I think that was either a tire that went down or it was a suspension breaking.
Yeah, that was definitely an anti-moment for sure, and especially since like a lot of them were working around a lap car. That was Jim Wallen they were trying to get around. Meanwhile, these two...
And that might have been Wallen that was up into the wall real quick, but there was a blue car. He is raging high up there. Here comes Matt Taylor.
The one on the front stretch almost reminded me of Tony Kanaan's wreck in the 2009 Indy 500 when he went to make that adjustment on the bar and it just kicked sideways on him.
Yep, I remember that one, and I could definitely see the similarities there. Not sure if it was a similar circumstance there, but definitely not fun. Not fun at all.
But while we're waiting real quick to see what these leaders are going to do, they're going to have to stop here soon. Here are the IndyCar real-world track records from Las Vegas. Ari Leindijk holds the overall track record on the original flat configuration at 226.4.
The best configuration, as they call it.
Yeah.
The one that had all the dirt and dust on it, yes. The current track configuration, Tony Kanaan in 2011 with a speed of 222, which I saw here at about that in that neighborhood here when we were doing qualifying. The kart track record, because remember, kart did run here. Patrick Carpentier, speaking of the French Canadians, 2004 with a speed of 206.186. The career...
I think they missed one going in the wall. I think it was the teammates that were battling each other hard.
Yeah, we're watching them right now, and there's a little bit of different distance between the two as the top 4 is kind of broken away. The career wins leader here at Vegas, Sebastian Bourdais, has 2, and our good friend from the Lionheart IndyCar Series, Richie Hearn, has 1, among others. So that is all you need to know about real IndyCar racing here at Las Vegas. Hey guys, make sure to help us keep this positive momentum with everything that we've seen here today on the Race First coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Top Split. If you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. Don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts, and we're going to have a lot of them. And we're about, I would say, anywhere from 5 to 8 laps away from these top 2 making pit stops.
Definitely so.
I'm noticing second place. He's wiggling a little bit. I think there might be a little bit of damage on that, on the right rear of the car from bouncing off of the wall on the front straightaway here about 2-3 laps ago.
Messiah still keeping pace with Jeroen Rubens at the moment, but he was obviously a lot closer before, and not sure if it could be tire wear, could be damage, but Messias was leading at one point. He led a few laps earlier on in the going as these two were having a little internal battle.
Yeah, these guys
they definitely need it.
They need a caution. Otherwise, when they stop, they are done.
Yeah, the last thing they need is a green flag pit stop. That will absolutely ruin them.
You know, as the old saying goes, caution breeds caution, and I'm thinking, you know, put yourself into the cockpit with and their frame of mind. Okay, we've had a couple big ones early. You know, now there's fewer cars on the racetrack. Am I still expecting another caution? Now, I almost got one with Eckert, but Eckert was able to get off the racetrack before the caution was able to come out. So
yeah, that would have been the
second caution or that third caution. I think we've only had 2. Would have been probably the time for them to come in, but they chose to stay out to keep that track position. And I think track position will play a role in this race, but I think it's going to play a role late in the race when everyone's on well-worn tires and are having a hard time passing everybody, trying to go for the win. Middle of the race, I don't think it's really going to matter, especially when these guys are going to have to stop.
Yeah, and especially since that's actually another thing to consider is the limited number of sets of tires that these guys have. 3 in total. You start off with 1, and you have 2 that you can use throughout the rest of the race. So you're gonna have to.
Has a case of crabs, folks. Mark Murphy's out. Look at his
Marcus. That is bold of you, Mark Murphy, going with no side pod on the left side of that number 3 machine, and I think Mark's kind of realized it at the moment. That is very unfortunate for him, though.
Yeah, I think you realize crab walking at that type of speed, especially with everybody else going by him, not safe.
Definitely not. Ooh, as I saw Jeroen Rubens, the race leader, actually touching the curb and touching the apron there, going through the
well. Even in the corners, apron bad.
Apron very bad, yes. And these guys, they're fighting each other as teammates, and again, they're going to have to be careful here. They got to be banking on a caution and just pray that it's not them.
You can somewhat get away with straddling that white line, but if you get just a tad bit too close to it, a little bit over it, correction, apron very bad. Very, very bad.
Yes, it is, and I can confirm from experience.
So those 2 leaders might be able to go maybe another 5 laps. We did have a lot of caution, so maybe they may be able to go another maybe 10 at most. But they've both been out there. One of them has really been the hare. The other one has kind of been chasing, falling in the draft and getting a little bit better fuel mileage. But they're not going to be able to make it to the end unless they have some miraculous fuel system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I kind of see on the way they're trying to drive it. I'm reminded of a kart in 2000 at California where the 2 Penske teammates, Elio Castroneves and the late Gilles de Ferran, they were battling it out early on in the race. And that was largely just to pull away from everyone else. Right now, they've opened up a 1-second gap over Trace Shadid. So in terms of raw pace, they seem to have something worked out for them. But But that's probably going to be all for not soon unless a very fortunate caution comes out.
The Trace knows they can't make it, so why
he
race
definitely
them?
knows.
Yeah, why race them if he know they can't make it? At least, hopefully, he knows they can't. Why race them? Just hang back there, and he is just in the draft envelope, barely, of the car in front of him, so he is getting a slight benefit of some aero pull. But he is still using gas at a fierce pace, and Clintworth also, he's probably getting a better mileage in his position behind Shadid. But again, it's going to be very, very close for these guys. So eyes on the leader, coming to lap 55 of 75. Thank everyone here for joining us. Team Brazil still leading up front. Make sure to click like and hit that thumbs up, of course. Subscribe if you haven't. And make sure you join us for future races here, as we're going to have a lot of them, as the Indy cars are now free to broadcast on iRacing. Thank God.
Woo! A lot of broadcasts. That's an understatement there.
Yep.
I will say this, though, with the way these guys are spread out, the tire wear is definitely starting to pick up.
Okay, here's the leaders.
Rubens coming in. Rubens locks up that left front, getting it down to 50 miles an hour onto pit lane. Nielsen Messias all by himself now, about 1.5 seconds ahead of Trace Shadid. But overall, the situation for these two teammates, it's not at all what they wanted. The gamble did not pay off. And it's a green flag pit stop is the punishment for Urim Rubens. And Messias now coming in on the next lap. So Trace Shadid assumes the race lead.
And so Trace now is in maximum fuel conservation. Can he go the remaining distance? It's going to be tight. He pitted on lap 10. So I'm not sure. I mean, he could have been sitting back there in 3, 4, or 5 and just trying to make mileage, but is that enough? Is that low enough on the fuel map to save you enough fuel to go the distance? And now he's got the aid of no draft in front of him whatsoever, and is on point. So coming to now 59 of 75. When he gets to the start-finish line, can Shadid do it? I think he needs to stop again. In fact, I think
he's going to have to stop.
I think everybody's going to have to stop. But we'll see. I've been proven wrong, and the guy that proves us wrong the most is right there in third spot, Robert Malechki III.
Yep. And he's also had Jacob Oster shadowing him everywhere he's gone. Oh, it's Clemworth nearly chopped down into Malechka as he makes the pass for second place there. I think Clemworth, was he trying to get the pit road? No, he wasn't. He was just fighting it out with RM3 there, as Oster now looking to make the pass down to the low side now on Clemworth's number 17.
And usually when you see these guys go down to the bottom of the track on the back straightaway, that's usually to tell the driver behind them that they're going to pit within the next lap or two.
Yep.
It's using the car as a way of putting your hand out the window to say, hey, I'm coming on the pit road. You can't really do that in IndyCar, of course.
You can't necessarily.
You'll break your wrist doing that, for one thing.
Unless you're Alexander Ross in 2019 against Oriol Servia, throwing up your hand like, what the?
Yes, exactly. That one, though, I think that was more instinct than being logical about it. But then again, that can be a characteristic of a lot of racing drivers.
Well, actually, you could stick your hand in the air, but I was going to, another example I was going to use was Arie Luyendyk, 1995 Indy 500, when he gave the bird to one of the lap down cars and unfortunately lost his side headrest.
Yep, he lost some padding there, yep.
Another iconic moment in the history of the Indy 500.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you got to watch those low-flying birds. You never know what they'll take away from your car when you hit them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
63 of 75, running along Jacob Oster there. Kyle Clintworth. He did pit on lap 18, so he can go slightly farther. He's all in the same strategy with this group in front of him. So the one that's off strategy now is Shadid.
Indeed it is, and I think right now Ulster is sensing his chance here. He's working on the high side of Robert Malechka. He's thinking Malechka's eating up his tires, and he just zooms by him on the high line there, does that number 2 of Jacob Oster.
Yeah, I think Malechka burnt his tires up because that's what a number of other drivers are starting to do. They're backing their corners up because they realize maybe my tires up a little too much.
47 laps on this stint for all these guys that are on the same strategy. So, real quick, Shadid's on his own. Everybody from 2nd to 6th, which is Matt Taylor. He's worked his way up to 6th. Shout out to him. They are all pitted on lap 18. Tiago Benedetti, he pitted on 20, so he could go slightly the longest. Now we see some cars starting to go to pit road. Not sure who that was.
Having a look, see who it would be. It was none of the lead lap cars.
Might be Mark Murphy.
Yeah,
it might have been Mark Murphy.
Murphy's still limping it around there. Valiant effort, of course. He can actually gain a couple of spots, maybe even.
Shadid coming in.
Trace Shadid finally blinks. He comes onto pit road, end of lap 66.
Had the pit with 10 to go.
He burnt his tires up, I guarantee it.
Well, he definitely went as far as that tank would take him, that's for sure. I think stopping any earlier, I don't think would have helped him either. I think he was in a position where I needed the caution. I'm just going to stay out there as long as possible, and it just never came. Now we hand the lead over to Jacob Oster and the team I5G, a big power team or power slide right behind him, but 2 power teams up at the front fighting it out right there, P1, P2, and Kyle Clinworth, who is up 21 spots from his starting position, is in 3rd and has pretty much been there the entire time. Matt Taylor continues. Oh, Taylor!
Oh, speaking of Matt Taylor, he actually caught the wall there in turn number 2. Gathers it up, though.
Almost got Estrada. I don't think Estrada saw it coming. I don't know.
I don't think he did either.
About that, but I think it would have been a little bit of a, if he hit him, what the heck was that?
Oh. That was so close there, but Matt Taylor brilliantly gathers it up, keeps on powering through, and right now he's got
you have urine that's a lap down, but that just shows you what new tires are doing for you right now. Exactly.
Urim Rubens, after his pit stop, picking off these spots. It's not going to get him any positions here, but it proves the point just how valuable tires are, not just here at Las Vegas, but in the Indy cars in general.
Antonio looking for that bottom step of the podium. Now,
Estrada, we're outside of Clenworth.
Urim needs to settle down now.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're 6 laps to go, and you're getting up into the leaders, and you really shouldn't be racing them hard, regardless if you have good tires or not. Especially toward the bottom of the race. That's just etiquette. Now, a lot of people don't understand that IndyCar etiquette, but that's just IndyCar etiquette.
Yeah, exactly.
And, he wisely, Antonio knew that he was a lap down, just let him go. But now we have a bottom 3-way battle for 3rd. Estrada, Clinworth, Taylor, as we now have 5 to go at the line. Now 4 to go at the line. Jacob Oster is your leader. Up high, Robert Malechka to 3rd. We're going to have a bit of a battle to finish this thing out. Can these guys make it on fuel? 4 laps to go. And I got to think now at this point, if they've gone this deep into the run, that both these guys are good to go to the end. So let's see what type of finish we have here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a battle once again between the 2 powerhouse teams of the IndyCar community, Team I5G and Power Slide. But usually you get one heck of a damn good battle between these 2 teams, no matter which series it is.
Let's not forget about Team Race First there with Antonio Estrada. Give us a shout. Come on now.
Absolutely.
That as well.
18th to 3rd for Antonio Estrada, and also to Clenworth as well, 24th to 4th. We've had some big movers tonight, and one of them is race versus own, Antonio Estrada.
2 to go, side by side the leaders. We'll keep it up here. Hopefully you guys got your eyes on that battle for 3rd, which I think is still pretty tight, but we'll go back up front. There's your leaders. Coming to 1 to go.
White flag this time. Malechka looking to the outside now. White flag in the air. Ulster holding it tough on the low line. Can Malechka get the run he needs? He's got a bit of momentum now coming off of turn number 2, side by side. Lap traffic in the way. That is Adriano Forporti ahead of them. But Ulster Holding it down low. Molechka trying to get the launch off the corner, side by side, coming to the checkers. Oster down on the apron. Oster holds on to it and wins it after the race ends. Jacob Oster wins. 75 one-thousandths of a second.
It looked like Robert had a run mid-corner and just had no place to go because Oster was there and had to take some evasive action, kind of came out, exited a little bit high, and then they came side by side, and then I think Oster got a little squirrely coming off the banking. I'm not sure what happened to Robert Molechka, but Oster, your winner. The Worm Man worms his way into a P1 here at Lost Wages.
Yeah,
I think we've seen a little bit of I hate to say it, I think we've seen a little bit of NASCAR history come back in this finish right here with Terry Labonte and Dale Sr. in 1996 at Bristol.
Yeah.
We're going to get a car being pulled into victory lane over here.
Oh, man. And as Oster now does a burnout, clips the wing, and he actually has no front wing on that car now, and no rear wing either.
Why not, fellas? Let's take a look at the results here before jumping into the room. We're going to have a good interview with Antonio. I know he is going to be happy. But Jacob Oster first, Robert Molechka the third, RM3, P2, a good follow-up to last week for him. Estrada was mentioned P3. Clintworth in his first appearance here on the Top Split broadcast. P4, Matt Taylor worked his way from deep in the field. Taylor up, well, not deep, but fourth, but he was back in the field at one point. He's up 4 spots. Benedetti, he finishes 6th. Nick Sudik, the man that was around excitement the entire race long, survives a wreck early and comes back 7th. Barrera 8th. Sal Alexander in that IAR Motorsports team, he is P9 for Porty 10. Rubens 11th. Shadid 12th. Messias 13th. Gagne 14th. And Dan Inch survives to 15th. Moving on, Weidman 16th. Eckert 17th. Wallen 18th. Romanzini 19th. Murphy 20th. McGee, Vasquez, Eckert, Solis, and Benedito round out the remainder of the field. Oh boy.
Wow.
And
That's all I can say.
Let's go ahead and bring in Antonio into the booth. Antonio, we got you. This time, you're not on the broadcast to be my partner. You're on the bottom step of the podium there, buddy. You had excitement around you all race long. I bet you white-knuckled for most of that race. So how are your fists feel? And how's your heart rate?
Yeah, man, a little bit quite high. And yeah, the fists are, the grip on my wheel, yeah, that's pretty tight. So yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. I honestly wasn't, totally sure that we were gonna make it.
Well, tell us how much was left in the tank.
0.05 of a gallon. So yeah, just barely. And yeah, wow. I was on map 3 for most of that second stint, and I thought that was gonna be enough to just not lose as much time to leaders, and to save enough. Luckily, that was like just in the nick of time, but the final lap, Kyle, he started going for it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch to map 1, and whatever it is that I have there, I'm gonna get it, and happily it was enough to make it by him.
So that big pile up on that final caution that happened in turn 2, that was all right in front of you, and unfortunate for you, it just all goes up the racetrack. You stayed low and picked up all those positions, and then all of a sudden, you're up inside the top 10. You're like, it's time to go for this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I did the first one yesterday, and I thought it was going to be a packed race because, Vegas typically is that way. So I was just pushing from the start on that race, and my tires disintegrated immediately. So for this one, I took a more nuanced approach. I was lifting way early, and that really helped on that particular incident because I was already lifting because I was taking like a super conservative line, trying to save tire, and that paid dividends in pretty much all aspects. I was able to, completely avoid that crash and had enough tire at the end to still battle.
Well, I am so we saw you all of a sudden get into the top 5 and then 4, and then you were battling with Matt Taylor and Clintworth there for 3rd and got into 3rd. I'm just so happy for you. I think it's your best result here on this, at least on a top split broadcast. I'm so happy for you. I know you got some shout outs, some people you want to thank. You go right ahead, and if you want to stick around with us, you can, because we still got Robert and Jacob to interview.
It is, yeah. It is my first podium on the broadcast, and that's pretty special. So yeah, shout out to my wife, who is probably watching here, and finally gets a good result. So he puts up with me, and all the time he's like, "Oh, 16th, well, bummer." And this time we get something good to celebrate. Yeah.
I gotta thank your wife too for allowing you to at least come out and play with me on Saturdays.
Hey, it is a lot of fun, and I'll take you up on that. I'll stay if you want.
All right, well, we'll bring up Robert Malechka the third here. RM3 P2 for you. How much was left in the tank there at the end, bud?
It was close. About maybe half of what I had. I mean, really, like we Jacob and I, we were in a call together, and we know what 3 guys stayed out. Trace didn't pit under that last yellow, and I forgot who else was up there, but
the two Brazilians, yeah,
and we just went right away. Map 5 fuel save. We knew after like 3 laps there that if we were in kind of clean air, we could easily make it to map 5 with the small lift, and we just kind of worked together, saved the tires, and we're able to kind of work the strategy better than anyone else there and get a nice 1-2 for both of us.
Well, there were 2 big moments there in the race that collected a number of cars. Where were you in the vicinity of those, and did you have any close calls? I don't think you did, but I didn't really get a chance to see every car in that first instance make it through, and I wasn't sure if I saw you or not, but were you possibly close to any of those incidents that collected the big ones there in the first 2 cautions?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you guys maybe saw my POV. But they were wrecking it up high in 1 and 2, and then everyone that pit there that took tires, our tires were still kind of coming up the temp a bit, and right when I hit the brakes, I just kind of insta locked.
Oh,
and had to release the brakes, and cars were kind of going all over, and I think I just kind of found a hole that was barely there, and I think Jacob did too. So I know we both got extremely lucky there. So yeah.
Well, once again, and we'll start paying attention to more points as it relates to this season as more and more we get these broadcasts under our belt and people that are watching become more and more familiar with the names that are competing every week. But we know you're up there in points, so it's we'll look at that for next week. But next week, I have an odd racetrack, but we picked it nevertheless. IndyCar is going back to Dover. What are your thoughts there? Bottom line going to rule?
Oh, no.
I think so. I unfortunately won't be able to be there. Me and Blocker are going on a trip together, so we'll be gone for the next few weeks. But
fun.
at least in all my testing for Dover, with the fixed setup, like I know last time they ran here, people were actually having engine temp issues. So
yes.
I think that is something that will be unlike any other track we race at, because it just seems like it's full throttle for kind of everyone. So kind of a packy race. But yeah, I don't know what Trano did with the setup to see what we'll do.
If I remember right, we covered a race in one of the seasons for the Revolution Indy League, and one of the race first drivers, Dakota DeMade, he had his engine expire because he was like 3rd or 4th car in line, and they were just in line on the bottom the entire time, and his engine just gave up. And as one of the rare engine failures I've seen actually during a race where the engine's not being abused, weirdly. So maybe we'll see that going into this race at Dover. But congratulations on the P2. Sorry we won't see you here for the next couple weeks. We hope you have fun on your trip. But any shout outs you have before we let you go?
Thanks to Trano for taking on the task of kind of making these setups and dealing with my ass and being annoying about it. Good job to Jacob on the win. We're great there together, and thank you guys for the broadcast.
No problem. Anytime. Thanks for coming out and playing with us, man. It's good to have you again. Congrats, and we'll see you when you get back.
Yep. Thank you guys. Take care.
All right, let's go ahead and bring up Jacob here. P1 today, the Worm Man got a little bit of excitement coming down to the start-finish line for the checkered flag there, but you made it past before spinning out. But you guys, just talking with Robert, pretty much were in fuel conservation that entire last stint, so you were able to make it. First of all, how much was left in the tank, and then tell us about your race, because if you were caught in the mid-pack, looks like you were always surrounded by constant excitement.
Yeah, about 0.6 of a liter at the line.
Nice.
Because I had been map one for the last 3 or 4 laps. I didn't save as much as Rob probably did. He was in probably a little bit better position. Like I saved more at the end, but I started to, whenever I got the lead, I bumped down the map to map 3, and that kind of pushed me down. But I was able to go map 1 the last few laps there and keep the lead, but almost had another little issue with some lap cars that had no right front for some reason, staying on the track.
Yeah, we hear you there. But in terms of your race and everything, did it really plan out the way you had it planned, or were you not really thinking it was going to be a fuel mileage race there at the end when you're looking at 2 big wrecks early on like that? Were you expecting more cautions?
No, we weren't really expecting more cautions because Rob and I worked pretty well together in these fixed races. So we were talking back and forth about how we wanted to approach this, because we knew when we qualified 1 and 2 and we had that caution, we're like, we got to pit. And because we knew at that point it's a possible make if it goes green to the end, if you hardcore save. And whenever the caution came out a couple laps later, like, well, now it's really easy. You just fill it up for fuel and you're good. I mean, it was interesting in the back there. It definitely made us think about how we're going to move through it. You just got to navigate the traffic, play some chess, and make the right moves, and all of a sudden you're back in 1-2 again.
Right. Well, and for some guys, you didn't have to pass them because they had to stop.
Yeah, I didn't expect Trace to stop, actually. I thought he was going to be able to save enough being in P3 there that entire run. Rob and I were both thinking that he was going to make it, and it was pretty interesting to not see him go all the way to the end, because that was going to make me push a lot more. But we knew we were good, but it was just a matter of how good, and it was pretty close for both of us.
Well, you got the win on P1 there here in Vegas. I'm sure you got some shout outs. Sounds like a little bit of an alliance here between the top two power teams here on iRacing for the IndyCar community. So go right ahead, man. The microphone's yours.
Well, there is a quasi alliance for the fixed sets, and it was Trano and Rob working together to coordinate the schedule and all the fixed setups. So I'd like to thank both of them for getting the season back in our track. We've set some really, really good weeks, especially since the license came back. I mean, had the best Motegi week I think ever since maybe at least 2020, and Atlanta and Pocono were both records in their own right for non-Indy or plate tracks in terms of actual participation. So we're looking really, really good right now, and I'd like thank both of them for making good sets and picking good tracks. And next season should be really, really fun. And
oh yeah,
I just need to beat Rob in a championship for once. I lost by 6 points last season because of a 5th IRS race we both did. Mm-hmm. So now it's like 50 something points. So I gotta close the number back down, and these next 2 weeks may be able to help me.
I'm about to say, it sounds like he might not be here next week.
Yeah, Dover will be interesting. I don't know if I'll actually be around for the broadcast split on Tuesday, but I'm gonna try and run a couple throughout next week because the setup's actually quite fun, and it's an interesting challenge to run there. My AI practice so far.
Well, congratulations. You definitely earned it. Good run on your part. Hopefully we see you next week. If not, we'll see you when you return. But Jacob Oster, the Worm Man, P1 here at Las Vegas. Have a good night, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right. I see Jacob. I see Nicholas Sudik sitting in the waiting room here for the interview room. I think he's just talking. But
yeah,
we got time. Let's go ahead and bring Nick up, who finished 7th, but he was the survivor here at tonight's race. Let's see if we can bring him up, and he's not talking. Hello, Nick. Nick.
Oh, hey.
There you go. Well, we thought you brought you up. I mean, man, we thought your day was done.
That was fun.
Yeah, well, okay, what part of it?
Well, first off, let's see. I narrowly escaped death there by a questionable slide job that was never going to work, but right. I already expressed that to Jose. He did not take too kindly to that, but
No.
I was very critical, but very to the point. But he is a good driver. In races like this, you have to push. I totally understand in hindsight what he was thinking, but it's really rough,
Well-
especially with the track this hot, to pull any sort of move like that after like 2-3 laps. Once you get that heat in your tires there, that bottom line in 3 and 4, just it's not on unless you have a really, really, really good entry.
It's not incorrect to say that, even because everybody here in the top split is a good driver. It's not incorrect to say that even top drivers can get in over their head a little bit.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's what I mean too. Like
Yeah.
Jose has, I mean, he's qualified for multiple feature, not just top split 500s, but feature top SOF of the year Indy 500s in the past. So he is fully capable. I've raced numerous times with him before. It's just, I mean, it might just be, and Gary, you and I have talked about this in the past with past broadcasts you and I have done together. It's all about reps. I haven't seen him in the car as much. It's very easy to get those feelers not quite as sensitive. You feel something in your steering wheel that you actually, it feels like understeer, but you're not picking up on it, and then boom, you just plow, into the wall. Which, I mean, honest to God, it's probably what happened. It sucks for me. It sucks more for Mark than anything, who had, I think, crash of the year there on flipping. But yeah, no, it was like I said, it was just good, and it was a good challenge to try to get back. Lap traffic kind of split me, Jacob, and Rob there. I was definitely going to try to work with them throughout, even though we weren't like on the same Discord call. We've raced each other. You've seen us all together. We know what to do. So, but I mean, just the fuel save was fun. Just fighting back through the pack is always fun too, and it's something that genuinely, shout out to Brandon Trano and Rob and anybody else who's helped like even test some of these sets. These are some of the best setups for oval fixed racing, period, on this service. I'm talking like C fixed, B fixed, A fixed. So I personally haven't ran any of the with the short track stuff, like the late model stuff or SLM. But I mean, for oval racing, these are some of the best setups you will find anywhere. And it's a great time to get involved with IndyCar. So, yeah. Anybody who's new here, tuning in, check us out.
Nick's unique with the IndyCar PSA. Well, thanks a lot. We just want to bring you up here to the comeback kid for today's race. Got yourself there a top 10 at the end. We will surely check you out for sure, I know, and other races coming up as we go through the season. But we just wanted to give you a shout out for your massive comeback there. You had to start, brought the car in the mid-pack, get taken out, start back from the back again with some possible damage, drive up through the field on the top 10. It's perseverance there, man. Congrats, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to go back to looking at this adorable video of this baby raccoon. So y'all have a good night.
All right, guys. Starting with Antonio, and then going to Steve, and then Justin, and then we'll wrap her up. Dover next week.
Oh boy!
There's a reason why the Indy Racing League only had 2 races and 2 races only at Dover. And they're both on YouTube, and I recommend everybody to go watch those races. I believe there were more laps of caution than there were more green flag laps done in those races. I'm joking there. I think there was possibly a little bit more than green flag than caution, but I do remember the story that G-Force and Dallara salespeople were very rich the morning after or the Monday after, as they were all the teams were coming and getting replacement parts for their cars after being banged up in that race. But guys, and again, starting with Antonio, then going to Steven, then to Justin, Dover next week.
Well, first off, I want to echo what Nick just said. I mean, these setups are fantastic. Like the best racing I've seen with the IRA team, bar none. Trano and the community have done a fantastic work in there. So Dover typically is hold the white line and don't do anything else. That's it. And then it's net code galore, and problems are going to show up everywhere. But that was the same case with Vegas. So I'm very, very hopeful that it's going to be quite different this time by, and we're going to be racing a lot more, and we're going to see some tire fall off, and you're going to have to manage your car, you're going to have to work your tools, and that is where it shines the most. So really excited to see that happen.
Yeah,
the Bristol on steroids with a roller coaster feeling. No matter what type of car you're in, whether it's a stock car or an open wheel car, chaos is bound to be aplenty because it is the Monster Mile, and Miles the Monster does have to get his quota filled. But I'll echo what Antonio said as well.
Yeah, and I will say Dover is a home race for me. It's about an hour away from where I live. But Dover does, of course, have a valid reputation for being quite chaotic and also a bit difficult to get sets other than ones that hold the bottom. But if there's a group that can make that difference, it's the group in charge right now in the IndyCar community. They have been doing pretty well so far, and I think Dover's going to be one of their biggest challenges yet, but I still kind of see a lot of sacrifices to Miles the Monster next week.
Hey! At least there won't be no Indy 500 winning car that gets destroyed next week.
Yeah, we're not donating that one to the scrap god just yet.
And for those that are wondering, what did he mean by that? In 1998, when the IRL went to Dover, IMS wanted Eddie Cheever to donate his Indy 500 winning car that year to the museum, and he said, no, I need that for Dover next week. Lo and behold, the car gets destroyed in a big wreck.
He did not have good showings at Dover in either one of those races. And there's still a classic. He got in a classic wreck with Greg Ray, and somewhere along I have an animated GIF of Greg Ray shooting lasers from his eyes as he was staring down. I think Greg Ray was called in to fill in for Billy Boat, who might have been injured from a week before, and he was just staring down Eddie Cheever like it was a death stare. But yeah, there's that story. You're absolutely correct. Well, fellas, I haven't had dinner yet, so I want to get some dinner. You guys have been awesome. We want to thank you guys for all your great work. But Jacob Oster with the win tonight. Robert Molesky the second with P2. And our own Antonio Estrada with the P3. Woo! Antonio, congrats, man.
Yay!
That will do it. Let's see here. What do we need to do here? So, you know what? Let's join Steven, Justin, and myself again next week for round 9 of the Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split of season 1 of 2024 as the series moves to Dover. Coverage this season begins around 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. That's 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Remember, it's an all-new time and day this season. So don't forget, you can find everything you need here at youtube.com/racers. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy. Require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you IndyCar Oval action nearly commercial-free. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution we greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and make us a part of your Tuesday evenings going forward this year, each and every week. Now, we always play the game with the YouTube algorithm. It's not easy, you know that, so please help support Race First and with us winning that game. And help us support with the weekly grind. Leave us a comment below and let us know you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like in the video. If you are new, and we know there's some new ones out there, I'm checking the numbers, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more of Race Versus other iRacing programming, including a second IndyCar Open Top Split broadcast. You can find coverage of the IndyCar Open Strength of Field race on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern as the series tackles the Texas Motor Speedway. Also coming soon in February, the Dark Horse IndyCar Series kicks off their 7th season right here on Race First from Fontana. And in March, the year-long battle will begin in the iRacing IndyCar Tour starting in Sebring. That's all coming up here to look forward to. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. Race First, Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split. Naming rights are paid for by 4D RACEWEAR. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. For business inquiries and learn more about what we do at Race First, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us via our Twitter handles right here at the bottom of your screen. So for Stephen Larkamp, Justin Petshower, Antonio Estrada, even Nick Sudiku stopped in. Everyone else at Race First, I'm Gary Gotso saying all. Good night. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders. Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch again right here next week for round 9 at Dover for the next race of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split. Good night.
Are we clear?